Hey, what's up, guys? Shuckle King here. Before I get into my Week 7 team builder and battle for the NPL, I wanted to talk about quickly the transactions that I made between Week 6 and Week 7. I am in somewhat in the mix of the playoff hunt. I'm probably around the 8th best record right now, so definitely on the edge. So hopefully these moves can catapult me up a little bit higher in the rankings, and changing up the team a little bit, I think will work best for what I have. The crux of my changes are between Vaporeon and Raichu. I haven't been too happy about. I haven't tried Raichu before, and generally I don't really care about my bulky waters as much. I'll get them eventually, but Vaporeon's been strange. It's probably the way I'd prefer to play, but it would be a lot more reliable if Vaporeon didn't have to rely on Wish to actually take hits, because it's just a big momentum sink, and I really don't want that for the most part. With this team, I do have Skarmory and I guess Miltank that also have that issue to an extent. And Vaporeon does have Baton Pass, which is fine, but if you're Wish, Protect, Baton Pass, or if you're not Protect, then you're not going to be reliably taking hits as well. So it just overall didn't really mesh too well with the team that I wanted. And Raichu is also just not good. I guess the week before, I believe it was week 6, I just had difficulty making a set that made sense for Raichu with all his legalities. So it was just very annoying to prep with, and his speed is pretty nice for base 110s. Sits in a nice speed tier between Azelf and Landorus, but I don't know, Raichu just didn't hit hard enough and doesn't really get past bulky grass types. That could be a little bit of an issue to my team. I do have Landorus for Sludge Waves and Alolan Muck, but grass types are a little bit problematic as well, so I probably want Electric that handles those a little better. And the third Pokemon I got rid of in order to make all these moves make sense is Slurpuff, which is unfortunate. I wasn't able to use Sticky Webs. I've been considering it for a couple matches, and Slurpuff did win me a game week 3, I believe it was, versus Verd, but Slurpuff just has to go with these changes. But you'll see in a bit why I'm not too upset of Azumarill or Slurpuff leaving, because I picked up Azumarill. Azumarill should be pretty cool. Thick Fat is probably not something I'm going to run. Huge Power, probably 90% of the time. Maybe Zap Zipper if I have high problems with a particular grass type, but this base 50 attack isn't much, but with huge power it's going to be boosted a ton to over 400 attack, so that's pretty cool. Gives me another priority user to pair with Mega Lopunny, and it has decent enough bulk at 180-80. It's not a bulky water type like Vaporeon is, but I do have Mishorna and Miltank that kind of fulfill that role to an extent as a bulky Heal Bell user. And Mishorna also has Momentum, which is cool, and has potential to still Calm Mind pass into Landorus, which I tried once. So Azumarill, pretty cool. Also gives me another neat win condition in Belly Drum, especially with Landorus plus Lopunny being such big threats, and makes it a little bit harder for my opponent to also prep for this big offensive threat right here in Azumarill. So that's pretty cool. Next I picked a Manectric, which I think is probably going to fit better with my team than Raichu. As you can see, the special attack is 15 points higher, which isn't insignificant. It's a pretty big difference there. Basically the same abilities. Lightning Rod is pretty cool to get a special attack boost, but what puts it over the top is a combination of Overheat and Flamethrower that hit grass types a lot harder than Raichu, which has lower special attack and Signal Beam to hit them. So that's going to be very clutch. Manectric is pretty straightforward in what it does. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Overheat, Flamethrower, Hand Power, maybe a move or two. It's also slower than the Terrakion combo. Cartonage slower than doesn't speed tide Latios, so it's unfortunate, but otherwise Manectric is also cheaper, which allows me to pick up another Mon because Azumarill was pretty expensive, so this is a little bit cheaper than the Slurpuff pick. But Rhyperior I think is also going to be pretty nice. another Stealth Rock user. Now I have, Landorus, Skarmory, Miltank, and Rhyperior, so I'm really not too worried with running Stealth Rocks on like a particular mon any week. A lot of options are present. Rhyperior is cool with the pretty high HP. It makes a Spadef, which is pretty bad, a little bit easier to manage, and Solid Rock also makes sure it doesn't take as many, or it takes more hits. And it also forces my opponent into like the Hidden Power war, which is always good with having a Landorus, because Hidden Power Ices aren't going to be doing that much to Rhyperior. And if you are going to go for Hidden Power Ice, I could Weakness Policy and Rock Polish, and maybe win some games that way too. So another win condition here. I do like Rhyperior. So that's my team. I hope these changes work out. Let me know in the comments below if you think you like the changes above, or if you wanted to see if you had better experience with Vaporeon than I have. But anyway, let's get right into Week 7.
Hey, what's up, guys? Shuckle King here, bringing you Week 6 for the NPL Majors versus... It was going to be Techno, but he quit Mons, at least for now. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. So Trev, the commissioner, is actually taking his place. So very cool that he stepped up and did that. So I appreciate him for doing that. And he has a very scary team. So it probably honestly would have been even more scary if I had to face Techno. Trev made a couple more changes to the team to make it a little bit more balanced and less hyper-offensive, but I felt like the hyper-offensive team was a lot more annoying to prep for. But this team certainly is also going to be a pain. So before we start all this, make sure you like the video to support me and subscribe if you enjoy my content. I very appreciate it. So Trev's team from most to least threatening is he has Tapu Lele. So... that's a big threat right there. I've never faced a Lele in draft, and I only played OU for one ladder wreck once, and well, I faced it more than one time, but I only laddered to try to get wrecks once. I came pretty close, but I got Hackstad like a couple games into, or before the minimum game requirement, and then I fell out at that point. But yeah, Tapu Lele is pretty annoying, but I did draft Muck, like maybe 15-20% of the reason I drafted Muck was in case I did face Tapu Lele, that supposedly I have a really good answer for it. Like Skarmory is here, as you can see here, but he could run Thunderbolt and get past it. Musharna can handle it okay, but he can run a Z Shadow Bulb, which is also an issue. And Miltank can't really take on, even if it's especially defensive. So that's definitely going to be annoying there. I'm going to have to figure out ways to try to defeat it. Mega Sharpedo is problematic just because he doesn't have to Mega Evolve turn 1. Generally, we haven't had that issue yet with Mega Lopunny. You generally want to Mega Evolve first turn. But Sharpedo at +1 speed will speed time on Manectric, so like I can't even reliably run Choice Scarf to outspeed it. I could if I had Raichu, but as you guys know, I did drop it, so Manectric's going to have to maybe sit on the back burner here, or I might not even bring it at all, but +1 speed Mega Sharpedo is going to be annoying to try to take down, but I do have defensive answers for it. Sylveon's pretty annoying to handle a spec set, and also defensive takes a lot of hits from like Mega Lopunny, Hydreigon, unless from like Z-Belch. Doesn't take Landorus Sludge Wave is that well, unless he's like max Spadef, but if he is, then Mega Lopunny can kill Sylveon pretty reliably, so... depending on what the set is, I have ways to handle it, but it's going to be hard to figure out initially how to handle the Sylveon. Swamperd's annoying because I don't have a grass type on the team, so I have to rely on Hidden Power Grass and just a lot of chip damage to take that down. Scolipede, I just hate facing. I mean, I do have a Skarmory, so I shouldn't really be that threatened by Scolipede, but it's even like a Spike Lead is annoying. And you see I don't have Defog on the Skarmory set. But he's not Z Scolipede, so that also makes it a little bit easier to handle, actually a lot easier to handle. He is Z Tapu, which is going to be a problem in and of itself. Cabalion, I have enough to revenge kill it with Landorus, Mega Lopunny. Azelf can outspeed and kill Azumarill, takes hits pretty well. Darmanitan, I have Azumarill, Miltank, Rhyperior. I'll take that on very reliably. Volibee is his only ground immunity. Now he also has Superior, which is a ground resist, but you can't really switch in, expect if I have Sludge Wave. I could have Rock Slide for Volibee, but Volibee takes Rock Slides a lot better than Superior takes Sludge Waves. That's why I would expect Volibee to come over Superior. Especially because for Superior, I have Muck, Miltank, Hydreigon, Skarmory to all take that on. Registeel is not coming. I have Landorus and Mega Lopunny, and Drampa's not going to come. I have Mega Lopunny and a lot of things to kill it. So my team here, I figured Skarmory looks really well in this matchup, handling a lot of his physical mons with not needing that much investment. Like, I handled Scolipede very well, Cobalion well enough, Darmanitan I don't, but I can't take it on regardless with any Skarmory set. Mega Sharpedo I handled pretty well, so I'm actually going to go pretty especially defensive. The physical defense allows me to live 2 crunches from Jolly Sharpedo, which I would imagine you would run Jolly Sharpedo to speed tie Manectric if I'm Choice Scarf. And the rest in the Spadef to hopefully take on Tapu Lele without Thunderbolt very well. Superior takes on better if he's like +2 Hidden Power Electric or something, Hidden Power Fire. And should take on the Drampa and Sylveon pretty well. Brave Bird to do a decent amount of damage to things. Spikes because his removal is Superior and Volibee. So if he does bring either, then I'm going to try to get up as many spikes as I can, but I'm not too worried about Volibee because I can Toxic it, and the same with Superior. I can Brave Bird it even. So I'm pretty okay with getting spikes up. Next I have Azumarill, Kebia Berry, which is the Poison Resist Berry, Aqua Jet, Play Rough, Superpower, Waterfall, and Huge Power. This Azumarill outspeeds the Sylveon, the Swampert, the Registeel, hopefully with my speed investment. It might not if they run a decent amount of creep, but I feel like I should be in pretty decent shape there. And maybe get some flinches with Waterfall, and that's why I went with Waterfall over Liquidation, which it's slightly harder. Superpower does significantly more damage to the Registeel than anything else. Play Rough basically hits everything else on his team, except for the Scolipede, that's really the only reason why I have Waterfall is to hit the Scolipede. And then Aqua Jet for priority, which is going to be a little problematic with Tapu Lele and Psychic Terrain, but otherwise, Aqua Jet also seems pretty decent. We have Alolan Muck, Azaltfest with a ton of Spadef. This is my Tapu Lele answer. This lives 3 Life Orb Moonblast after Rocks from Lele, so I can very comfortably take hits from it. This also basically allows me to live a Savage Spinout from Scolipede after Rocks. If he's adamant, it's a roll, but otherwise I should be able to take it on. And again, I would expect Jolly just to add speed to Choice Scarf Manectric, which would be annoying to him if he didn't add speed, because I could kill it overheat. Pursue to do like 80% to the Tapu Lele if he switches out. Poison Jab will obviously kill. Fire Blast is here actually, so I don't have any speed, so I actually don't speed tie with stuff like Registeel. I think it's base 50. But Fire Blast allows me to hit the Registeel for decent damage and the Cobalion for decent damage, because otherwise Poison Jab and Dark moves aren't going to do much to Cobalion at all, and he could potentially set up on me. Next I have Landorus with Life Orbs. I think I brought Life Orb every week with some bulk and special attack and speed. So the speed allows me to add speed base 95. So that allows me to add speed the Tapu Lele, and I think he had something else. Maybe he didn't. Okay, the Tapu Lele I had speed, and the Darmanitan, that's it. The bulk allows me to live an Ice Punch or Ice Beam after Life Orb recoil from the when I'm against the Swampert. So if I lead, I'm going to probably lead Landorus in this match, especially if he has Swampert. I'll Grass Knot, and I'll kill, unless he has Orindo Berry. Even if he's like Max Spadef, I'm pretty sure I kill with Life Orb. But if he is, like Orindo Berry, and he goes for the Ice Beam or the Ice Punch, as long as he has no investment or like only 4 EVs, then I'll be able to live either the Ice Punch or the Ice Beam, depending on what move he goes for. And at that point, I can kill with an Earth Power, anything on the lines of that. He could also just go for Rocks, and then I'm fine. I could defog afterwards if he wants to try to like stay in and hit me pretty hard. And I'll trade like 80% of my health for killing the Swampert and not getting Rocks up. I'm definitely okay with that. Earth Power hits his team really hard because his only immunity is Volibee and his only resist is Superior, which I have Sludge Wave for. Sludge Wave also hits Tapu Lele a lot harder. and the Grass Knot for the Swampert. Next, I have my Darmanitan answer, which is physically defensive Miltank with Thick That and Rocky Helmet, Stealth Rock, Miltank, Thunderwave, Seismic Toss. Was going to go Toxic for the Swampert over Thunderwave, but 6-foot Hex suggested to go for Thunderwave to slow down the Cobalion if it tries to set up on me, because the setup Cobalion is a little problematic because Skarmory doesn't take it on as well. So Seismic Toss will be doing decent damage to things, and he doesn't have a ton of mods that have reliable recovery on his team outside the Sylveon, and I have answers for that in my Landers, Alolan Muck, even Azumarill, Skarmory, they all take it on, so I'm not worried about Sylveon with this Miltank set. But get up rocks and do a lot of chip damage with, like U-Turn from Darmanitan is going to be chipping his health down a lot, especially with rocks up. And Mega Sharpedo, I'll be able to chip it down and take it on very reliably. Last Pokemon I have is Mega Lopunny. Return High Jump Kick, Drain Punch Substitute. This adds speeds, everything on his team without a Choice Scarf for a Protect speed boost. I could sub up Predicting a Protect from the Scolipede or the Mega Sharpedo. So, like, if they Protect, then they would outspeed me and probably kill me off with the Life Orb Scolipede hit or like a Waterfall from Mega Sharpedo, but I can sub on those. And then they'll be only able to break my sub before I kill them with a Return or a Drain Punch. So, that's my team. Let's get right into the match. Alright, here we are for the match against Trev. And as we can see here, he does not bring his Swampert, which is pretty cool. That means my Landers doesn't have to be a lead necessarily to take on that Swampert. It's still nice to hit a lot of his team pretty hard, but he did bring the Volibee, which is probably his best answer for my Landers because I don't have Rock Slide on this set, so he can somewhat wall me. Sludge Wave will still do a decent amount, but especially now with after rocks being up, I had to get the rocks up first. So I do want to try to get Miltank in on this game pretty early, especially because he also has a Darmanitan, and if I could wear that down, that would be great. As we can see here, his only rocker is the Cobalion, so I am going to lead with my Landorus, because he can get rocks up, but I'll exchange that for killing him with Earth Power. But he leads with the Volibee, so I can't touch it at all, but he can't touch me whatsoever against my Skarmory. I guess Knockoff would be the best thing to hit me with. And I can get up Spikes afterwards or go for a Toxic afterwards, depending on what he wants to do. He could go into Cobalion here, I guess, to get rocks up, which he does decide to do if I just get up a layer of Spikes instead of going for the Toxic there. I'm going to switch out of my Landers because I will be able to kill this, and I expect him to just get rocks up, which he does. At this point, I really have no reason not to Earth Power. The worst thing he does, it goes back in a Volibee. And at that point, I can go back in a Skarmory and just roost up or get more spikes up and pressure his team or force the Volibee to defog, then I can get a Toxic off. He flinches with his Cobalion staying in. That kind of lends me to believe that he's a Shuckaberry and has enough bulk to take 2 hits. So it puts my Landers in a pretty bad position. I mean, if I Earth Power and he Shuck, I probably still do like 90%. So I'm fine with that exchange, especially because he'll die after a Spike, or I'll get my Mega Lopunny to evolve for free. But this flinch, and he does like a third, gives him a chance where he can defeat my Landers 1v1, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to still go for the damage if I can get it off, because I don't think a Corkscrew Crash could kill if he was that set, which would be weird, because I would expect he would want to save the Cobalion otherwise. So, goes for the Earth Power, doesn't hit the Volibee. Again, I'm going to switch in my Skarmory. If he predicts this and goes in the Darmanitan, I do have an answer in my Miltank. Just not too worried about that. And he does go for the knockoff. So I'm going to roost up, get to as full as HP as possible to take on the Sharpedo, and maybe the Lele without Thunderbolt. And now I'm going to switch into my Miltank, which is my 100% answer to this Darmanitan, as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp. So that's a weird play, I guess. If he expected me to switch, I guess he could have expected me to switch into a Azumarill, because Flare Blitz wouldn't have done much, Superpower wouldn't have done much. If he predicted me to go into, like, maybe Miltank could have been a switch, but he wouldn't have done much with Superpower. So at least with the Will-O-Wisp play, if I went to a Azumarill, then he would burn me and I'd be pretty much useless. But I guess I get the prediction right there. I wasn't going to let my Azumarill get chipped that much. But he does have to worry if I was a setup set. That would be a little problematic, though, again, he does have the Lele, and I can't Aqua Gen on that. So he probably could revenge kill me. But anyway, he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, which I'm fine with. I can get my rocks up, so he won't be able to kill me unless he's like Life Orb, Adamant, Superpower. That probably kills, but at least I get some chip damage on him and know that he's not Choice Scarfed. And I can outspeed with Landorus and Mega Lopunny. I'm going to go to my Skarmory, which is really the only thing that can reliably take Sylveon, maybe besides the Muck. But I want the Muck more healthy for the Tapu Lele. So you can see here, he does 43% with Hyper Voice, which means that's like a high roll choice spec set. So fortunately, I am able to take 2 here. He can't really get a high roll. He got like a lower roll there to balance it out. And I'm able to roost up and probably outstall a Sylveon unless he gets a crit. But he doesn't want to risk that this early and let me get high and get high up on HP and get a lot of spikes up. So I'm going to get up to 100% with my Skarmory. Again, I could take on the Sylveon later on in the match, which I'm definitely okay with. So again, I could go into Azumarill here, but I don't want to risk Will-O-Wisp again. I feel like Miltank's a pretty safe play for me. I am burned, which is pretty unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. You'll see later on. You can see all that recoil that Dormanitan takes. He's going to die to another hit if he decides to stay in, but he's at under 25%. So unless he felt like he couldn't get a defog up with his Volibee, then I'm definitely okay with the situation. And I am Miltank here, which is kind of a weird play just because it would normally be a weird play just because this gives him an opportunity to set up with either the Sharpedo getting speed boost or into Cobalion. But fortunately, I do have the Thunder Wave on this set, so if they do try to set up on me, at least I can Thunder Wave him and then Seismic Toss for consistent damage. So he does go into Cobalion here, and he sets up a Sword Sand. So as long as I hit this Thunder Wave, I should be okay. Even if I missed, Mega Lopunny can come in and revenge kill, unless I miss a high jump kick. But I do land the Thunder Wave, so that's great. Now I can Seismic Toss, chip him down enough to where I can revenge kill him with a lot of things. Fortunately, he gets paired once, so it's going to be even easier for me to revenge kill him, like if he had a Fighting Resist Berry, maybe if I brought in my Mega Lopunny instead. That would have been risky, but fortunately it works out for me, and I'm able to kill this Cobalion with my Mega Lopunny this following turn. So great work by Miltank, and pretty cool with the Thunder Wave tech. So I am able to kill it for a turn, so it was going to kill especially with the -1 defense. And at this point, I'm in pretty good position here. The Lele is still alive, but I do have the Mukta taken on. The Sharpedo's alive, but my Azumarill is at high health, and I can kill it in return there, unless I miss like a Play Rough, I suppose. Sylveon I had the Skarmory for, and Volibee I had the Skarmory for. So it's looking pretty decent for me. My Lopunny isn't as useful. It's still useful. It could kill a decent amount of things, but I have responses for everything else on this team. He goes for the Moonblast, does nothing. I'm going to try to Pursuit Trap him, but he actually goes for the Z move and goes for the Twinkle Tackle, which really doesn't do much at all. I'm pretty happy with that. And he pursuits, and that damage shows that has a lot of bulk on his Tapu Lele. That's pretty interesting. I guess his next play, I probably make a misplay. Poison Jab is pretty free at this point to kill the Sylveon. I have the chance to get the poison on the Volibee, and I probably don't kill the Sharpedo, but do a lot of damage to it. And I could get the poison, right? Yeah, it's not Misty Train. But instead I go for the knockoff, like trying to catch the Volibee, which I probably shouldn't have done. I should have gone for the Poison Jab, but it's not the end of the world here. At least it doesn't give an opportunity for Sharpedo to maybe try to get like a Protect up on my Muck. Because if I did kill off the Tapu Lele, he could bring in the Sharpedo, and my Poison Jab's not going to kill. He could get a Protect, Speed Boost, and then kill me off, and then he would have at least +1 speed, so there was a chance he could win the game at that point. So at least I prevented that, and especially because I don't have Fake Out or Priority on my Lopunny. I wouldn't be able to like Fake Out, Revenge Kill to Sharpedo. So it wasn't the worst play, but it kind of just lowered the differential at this point. So I bring in my Mega Lopunny, knowing he's not Scarfed. He's going to have to sack something off, which I expect is the Lele, but he actually switches out and sacks off the Sylveon, which I'm really happy with. I'm also surprised that I'm able to kill with my return at this point with my Mega Lopunny. It's very strong. I feel like Mega Lopunny's pretty underrated, just because I feel like people used to overhype it so much. And like it's cool to not think Mega Lopunny's the best Mega in the format, which is just crazy. But anyway, he brings in a Volibee. I'm not going to be able to kill Skarmory to 100% switch in. Skarmory takes on this Volibee, add the Lele, and as long as I can stay pretty healthy, I can also take on the Sharpedo pretty well. He brings in the Lele, but I'm going to just go for the Brave Bird, predicting him to switch either into the Sharpedo or the Lele, predicting me to roost up and stay at full. But I'm able to take that out, and the Sharpedo comes in. If he waterfalls, it would be problematic. If he crunches, it doesn't do much at all. He gets the defense drop, unfortunately. But I'm actually able to kill with a Brave Bird, which I was kind of surprised about. But he needed to go for the speed boost there in order to give himself any chance to win. So I'm able to just stall out the Skarmory, this Volibee with my Skarmory, go for the Toxic, and then I'm able to get 3 kills with my Skarmory in this match, which is pretty funny. I think Skarmory has the 3rd most kills after this match after Landers, and then obviously Mega Lopunny. So good game to Trev. Now I'm up to 3-3. Hopefully next week we could get above the curse. I've been losing, winning every other game here, so hopefully I could get above 500 at least once this season. That would be pretty cool. But until next time, later, guys.